He's definitely seen the Boys Gonna Rock video and is quite the fan of the Burning Man at the end.
Hi, I'm Greg. I'm the lead singer for Lipstick.
And I'm Steve. I'm the bassist for Lipstick.
And welcome to the Lipstick Panel. The Lipstick Panel is a weekly ranking show where we, the members of Lipstick, rank a subject with special guest panelists. And today is going to be a rock and roll party!
Rock and roll party!
We have a room full of people here today. Our special guest panelists helping us rank the songs from the Kiss album Dressed to Kill. We have Kimchi Chris from his awesome YouTube channel, and we have Chris Cyznszak from the Decibel Geek Podcast. Welcome, guys.
Thanks so much.
What's going on?
And so Steve, for those who don't know, does couch surfing, which means he just invites strangers to hang out at his house and live there for a little bit. So we had a bunch of them over here today, and we're like, you know what? Dressed to Kill is really short. Do you guys want to listen to this album and rank the songs? So we have a whole bunch of special guest couch surfing panelists. So you want to go around and introduce yourselves?
Well, I'll start off. My name's Sammy Gonzalez, and I'm from Texas, and I do a lot of weird stuff.
My name is Martin. I'm born in Texas, but I grew in Mexico.
I'm Danae. I was raised in Fort Collins, and I also do weird stuff.
Hey, my name is Carmela, and I was in Austin, Texas for 7 years, and supposedly the live music capital.
Nice. Well, welcome everybody. So the album we're discussing today is the third Kiss album, Dressed to Kill. This is the first album where Kiss started to sound good in the studio. The first two albums had really, really rough production values, and this was the first time the band really started to sound like the Kiss we know and love with the Rock and Roll Over, Love Gun thing. This is where they started to come into their own sonically, but songwriting-wise, it was a very rushed record. They were very pressured to get it out quickly, so they had to write a bunch of new songs in a short amount of time. They had to dig back into old songs from their previous band because they didn't have enough material. It's a very short record. That's why the pauses are so long between the songs, so you don't notice how short it is.
And fade-outs. Every song has a fade-out.
Oh, so many fade-outs. So I want to go around the panel and get everyone's background with Kiss, if they have any, and also if they have any particular background with the album. We'll start with Chris, whichever Chris wants to go first.
You go ahead.
All right, this is Kimchi Chris. When you hear this voice, just so you know, I don't know why I'm doing hand motions like someone's watching. Anyways, so Kiss is my favorite band, and if you say that a different band is better, you're wrong. I'm one of those guys.
The Beatles!
I'm one of those guys. Beatles, there are better musicians out there like Randy Rhoads. So, so Kiss is my favorite band. I'm one of those guys, but I don't love everything they do, but to kind of throw in a little bit of where I am on this, I don't think there's anything wrong with the first 6 records. So I'm that guy for the podcast today. So yeah, that's my background. And this one was actually pretty deep into my Kiss discovery. This was not one of my first albums I had because I had all the important songs on Alive. So that's where I am on this record.
Older, wiser Chris. Your opinion.
Definitely older, wiser's debatable. But no, I'm just like you though. This one kind of came a little bit later for me as far as my fandom goes. I got into Kiss in 1987 in the middle of the non-makeup era when the band was basically trying to be Poison. They were trying to kind of ape what was popular. But I was into those bands already at the time, and then I saw one of Kiss's videos, like, oh, this fits that stuff, and then my brother walked in one day and he saw me watching it on dial-in TV. There used to be a thing on a phone that you dialed numbers. And I was watching one of their videos, and he's like, Kiss? And he's like, that's not Kiss. And he goes in his room, and he comes back with a copy of Alive, and he goes, that's Kiss. And he goes, start listening to that. So, like, Kimchi Chris, I kind of fell in love with the early stuff off of Alive. That was kind of the template, which there's really no better way to get into early Kiss than the Alive.
That was my
record.
first cassette I ever owned.
Oh, really? But Dress to Kill didn't come along for me until maybe a year or so later. Like basically, once Alive hooked me, then it was the process of buying everything that they put out. But then when I heard this one, I liked it though, because like I started chronologically, and like you said at the intro, the first two albums, while there's incredible material on there, the production is horrid. So this one was kind of a breath of fresh air, and I was like, okay, now this makes sense why it bridged from this to Alive.
Could I see the album? Because I'm curious if I was even born.
You
No,
were
you
not.
weren't.
This one, you were not.
Let me tell you something, I wasn't born.
Yeah, so this was
42 years old.
75.
Right?
75? Okay, so this was 75. So, and this, they put out those first three albums very close. It was what, like 18 months apart?
Something like that.
Yeah, within 18 months they put out
a year.
3 studio albums.
Yeah,
so
they would do 2 albums a year for years.
So they were hustling a lot at this point. They were young, they were hungry. This was before Kiss had made it, before they were really catapulted in the mainstream. So this was when they were, living out of a van, all that good stuff. This is young, trying to make it Kiss before they became the superstars that everyone knows them as.
But to give you an idea how the music industry's changed, this album sold that year around, like 75,000 copies?
Right.
Which was considered a flop. Nowadays, you'd be like number 5 on Billboard if you sold that.
If you sold,
Yeah.
oh man,
Yeah.
if we sold
Yeah,
75,000
success.
copies, I mean, you do the math on that. That's not bad.
If we sold 75,000 copies, we would make $7,000 after shipping costs to France.
We sell a lot of CDs internationally, which is great, but for shipping costs really suck.
Now I heard in Texas I've seen the people selling their mixtape for $5. They go to the gas stations, and I was told by this one guy that they sold 10,000 copies. But I'm not sure. It's just hustling people on the street.
I don't know about them 10,000.
Yeah, 10,000 is quite a bit. Lipstick has sold pretty well as an independent band, but we haven't hit the 10,000 mark.
Maybe we should be hustling it on the streets.
I
I feel like I've been offered 10,000 CDs outside of gas stations.
If we had Mr. Cool on the street corner hustling those CDs, we'd probably sell a lot more copies of Lipstick too.
We'd be competing against kids washing cars for their football team though, and I'd feel a little bad about that.
That's fair.
People shouldn't have kids.
So
Kids shouldn't play football.
So does anyone else on the panel have any Kiss experience, or is it all just going in blind?
Dr. Pepper.
Going blind.
Yeah.
My Kiss experience is rock and roll all night.
Yeah. I did that one.
Guitar Hero.
That one came out. Yeah, Guitar.
Guitar Hero? Wow, I'm old.
I feel old when I hear that
Let
stuff.
me-
So
Gosh.
Chris, let me make
Yeah.
you feel even more old. That was when I was in high school.
Well, now I feel like I have to explain what MTV was. They played videos on MTV that wasn't all about Teen Mom?
See, the M used to stand for music.
The TV used to stand for television, which was a box in your living room
Yeah.
that your YouTube went to.
Wow.
Oh, we're all so old.
I'm going to be so depressed driving home after this. to the nursing home.
Oh man, that's gonna be really fun. We have to mix that for peaking purposes. Yes. Where's Joe Pamazio when I need him? Papa Joe, help me.
I don't know if you can afford him.
I cannot afford him. I've talked to him about it. All right, so we're going to go through the songs as voted by this panel. We have 3 Kiss experts. We have people who are listening to Kiss for the first time, and we have someone going through the discography in order who is sort of the in-between expert and non-expert.
I've listened to 3 albums now, so I feel like I have Stockholm, and I'm starting to like it.
They might just be getting better. The fact that the production is not terrible and songs are up to tempo probably helps.
It's true.
All right. We're going to see the results of this panel. Now, as a caveat for those who haven't been here, which is everyone but Steve, if in the event of any ties, whichever tying item has more of the lowest votes is the one that gets docked. So let's say 2 songs get 26 points. If one of them has 3 ones and one of them has 4 ones, whichever one has the more people who really dislike it is how it ranks lower. Okay. So even if it isn't necessarily what I agree with, that is how we decide items in the event of a tie.
This is complicated.
Math.
Are we free to call bullshit if we disagree?
Yeah, go for it.
Whenever Greg did a bunch of math on his phone, it's like, this seems reasonable. He just came up with a series of rules. I don't know why he's even explaining it.
This is a very unscientific panel because this isn't like a general view of the population. And I'm sure there's a bunch of Kiss fans who are really upset, like, they brought in non-fans on this panel. This is garbage.
It's an unscientific group of panelists also.
Right.
Yeah.
But I will remind all those Kiss nerds out there what Paul Stanley has said about critics and how he thinks that the fans and the average person on the street has just as valid of opinions as the biggest music critics. So, suck it, nerds. Coming in.
Just remember, if somebody leaves a negative comment, you can delete it.
I mean,
this is the internet.
Whatever. Leave your negative comments. Come
Tell
at me,
all
bro.
your friends to leave negative comments.
Oh, yes,
Listen to
please.
our podcast.
Yes, please. Leave as many negative comments as you would like.
We will fight you on the internet. Why not?
Yeah.
Little secret for podcasters, negativity gets more listens.
It's true,
All right.
actually, yeah.
Please tell us we suck. Please tell us that our music is terrible.
Well,
Please just talk about our music, please.
Tell the listeners that they suck and you'll get more listens.
Right. Listeners,
We hate all of you.
Yes. All right, coming in at number 10 on the list, the worst song on this album, according to the panel, Two Timer. So here is my thing with Two Timer. I think the beginning is very cool. I think that the guitars sound really good production-wise, and I like the way they're hitting with the drums. I think that sounds cool. And then the rest of the song starts, and it's not as cool. For reference, I'm a diehard Kiss fan. If you've been listening to these episodes, which I'm sure all you Kiss nerds have, you know that I love the band, and I love every song on this album. But the way that you know you love some of your children less than others. You know that this is the kid who's like, oh man, you're the one who gets the bad grades and is kind of rude. And then I've got the other son who's like really polite and does the laundry for us. And always says, you know, Dad, I love you. I'm like, I love you too, son, who actually is nice. So you know how you love some kids more than others. Two Timer is still like my child.
I never want to have kids, so I don't know about that.
See, I figured you were going to go the opposit direction, that you love the kid who's kind of rude, and is more likely to sneak out to a Kiss concert and get somebody pregnant at 17, just like their dad did.
Rock and roll! But I do enjoy Two Timer because it does remind me a little bit of the Beatles, my favorite band. Just the whininess of the lyrics. I remember, I think I was listening to Decibel Geek Podcast with your Desmond Child interview, and he was talking about the songwriting rules with Kiss. And he was saying one of the rules was with Kiss, the songs could never portray the members of Kiss as victims. They always had to be, victorious and triumphant.
Yeah.
Like Manowar.
But this was before they had that rule. This was Kiss as victims. And honestly, it's really refreshing to hear that because Kiss lyrics have difficulty resonating with me a lot of the times because it just feels like, I'm awesome all the time. Where I resonate more with a band like Thin Lizzy where there's vulnerability and the awesomeness. I need both. I need more than just that to understand human beings and really connect with a person. So I enjoy it for that reason quite a bit because of what it adds to the overall catalog of discography.
Right. I dig the song. I've always liked it. I don't remember where I ranked it at in the rankings, but I don't think
somewhere.
I don't think it was too low. But one thing I like about it is it's before Kiss felt like they had to live up to certain character stuff and follow a theme, or it has to be anthemish, or it has to have a war cry or whatever. It's like, no, it's actually about Gene and a girlfriend who's cheating on him. So, I mean, which
is funny when you think about it.
It is funny. But no, I like it. It's got a bluesy swagger to it. I think the guitar riff in itself is really cool. And it's just kind of unorthodox for what would come from Destroyer on. Like, you could put a gun to Gene's head from 76 on, and he probably couldn't write this song again. So it's an innocent song, and it's them kind of figuring out what their sound is. I've always liked the song.
Yeah, honestly, I'd echo that. I think my ranking, it was like somewhere in the middle, like roughly right in the middle.
Me too. Yeah.
There's so many numbers on this list. I don't know who ranked what.
I think it's a good song. I mean, my first time I heard it actually was on the "You Wanted the Best, You Got the Best," like the fake live version.
The re-record. Yeah, I think that's a great version.
Yeah, and that was the first one I heard. So when I heard this one, I was a little bit disappointed by it, but yeah, it's still a rad song. It's a very, like you said, it's a good like. Gene couldn't do this down the road if he wanted to. Instead, he started writing songs fantasizing about 16-year-olds. So, he definitely went from one area to another on that. And
what a time to talk about that.
Yeah, exactly. But
right after
no, I think it's a good song. I think it's like a very middle-of-the-road Dress to Kill song. In other words, they're really good songs. I don't think there's a bad song on this record. So, yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there. I know.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
The thing that sort of threw me with this is right after Room Service. I heard Room Service and was like, all right, they've got like clean production. They're playing the song fast enough. All right, this is where they're supposed to be. And then they immediately go into this kind of slow, bluesy riff. And like, I'm not, like 12-bar blues is the worst genre. And this has that feel. It's not a 12-bar blues song, but it feels like it.
Yeah, for reference, Steve hates the blues. He doesn't have nearly as much soul as myself or Peter Chris.
Look, I'm a bassist. I hate the blues.
He's just happy. Give him a break.
Right.
See, he's laughing.
Does anyone else have anything to say about this song before we move on to the next one?
That was actually my favorite song.
Oh, how do you feel about this panel just destroying your favorite song?
I thought it was okay.
No, that's okay. It just made me tap my foot, and I like the drums in it, and I was like, yeah, I like the lyrics, so...
I mean, I enjoy it lyrically. I think lyrically, it's one of the stronger songs on the album, to be completely honest. Musically, weaker for me, but lyrically, one of the better ones.
I feel like writing the song, they were drinking, and then he was just pointing out his emotions on this.
Gene doesn't drink.
Yeah, he's straight edge. Wow. Yeah, so that's we just refuted that. But we learned something new.
Breathes fire, spits blood, sleeps with thousands of women, but does not get drunk or high.
Yeah, so you can't really call him straight edge.
I mean, you can call that straight edge by some definitions.
I mean,
call that sober.
Yeah. Sober. Usually you've got the like, don't drink, don't do drugs, don't fornicate, and Gene definitely fornicates.
The Wikipedia article states that the fornication bit is under debate in the straight edge community. And as we all know, Wikipedia is law.
Oh yeah, never wrong.
Alright, coming next on the list. At number 9, Ladies in Waiting. The worst song on the, in my opinion, the worst song on the album, but the votes did not lie, and unfortunately, two-timer lost to Ladies in Waiting somehow. I don't know why you would do this, because Two-Timer has interesting lyrics. And I do really like the beginning. The way the drums and the guitars go together in those hits, that sounds really cool. I don't really have as much good to say about Ladies in Waiting. I have, Stockholm Syndrome as a Kiss fan, so I still love it. It's like, yes, the song is still great. But that's because I've been brainwashed by the band, since age 14. But objectively, this is actually the worst song on the album, in my opinion. And I feel like Chris... older, wiser Chris agrees with me on this.
To put it kindly, this song blows. And I was as brainwashed a Kiss fan as you'll find, but I never liked this song. I think it's terrible. It's got all the depth of a kiddie pool. The lyrics, so you've been to the market and the meat looks good tonight, and the ladies in waiting will show you what it's all about. That's really good, Gene.
I also noticed that lyric.
This song is ridiculous, and it's all of 2 chords. So musically, it's not complex. Lyrically, it's horrible. And I remember like the first bootleg videotape I got. There used to be these things called videotapes that you could buy. And,
VHS.
Blocks that look like bricks.
Yes. And I bought the bootleg of them playing at Cobo Hall in Detroit. And this song, when they start playing this song, I'm like, what the hell is this? And it is a skip every time. I don't think I've listened to the whole thing in full in 20 years, maybe. But yeah, it's one of the worst songs in the catalog, in my opinion.
I was like weird about it. I was like, couldn't really like process it well, but then the hook kept bringing me back. I'm like, what's happening?
There's a hook?
There's something that was hooking me. I don't know what it was, so I was just like, I'm put this in the middle.
I like it when Gene says, "They look hot tonight."
Gene, really deep, Gene.
I mean, it is Gene.
Yeah, for me, it was like super repetitive,
Yeah.
and I'm not about repetitive music. So that
Ooh,
made me.
this was the wrong album for you.
This might be the wrong band for you. Hey, Paul, I've got a verse and a chorus. Good.
I
Just
mean,
repeat it. Let's do it.
It could be the Ramones, who are like arguably my
That's true.
really close
I
to the
love
top
the
favorite
Ramones.
band. Yeah.
So as another caveat for first-time listeners of the show, this panel is overall trying to be a positive panel. that was the idea with the format, is so we don't necessarily say this is bad and this is good, and just to discuss things that we like. But as we've done more and more episodes, we realize, sometimes there are things that just aren't as good, and Ladies in Waiting is one of those things that isn't as good.
How did it not place last? That's confusing.
So this was tied with Two Timer.
Oh, okay.
With the point values. Both got 26 points, but Two Timer got more ones. So more people thought Two Timer was the worst song on the album than Ladies in Waiting.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but they were
Kids these days.
Yeah, but that is why.
It's poetry compared to this song.
Oh, absolutely, it crushes it.
To be fair, 5 of us listened to the song once.
That's
That's more than enough. You don't need to go
I
back
caught
and hear
that the
it
meat
again.
looks good lyric and still ranked 2-timer lower.
You just really hate the blues.
he just laughs at it.
It's true.
Or you hate grocery stores. I don't know.
Yeah. Or he really likes grocery stores. You ranked it higher.
That's true.
Yeah, I like grocery stores. So
All right, so coming in at number 8 on the list, not tied with those last two songs. This one is a Kiss classic, played live at many of shows. This is She.
Aw, so low.
There's a bunch of great songs on this album. Some are going to beat out others, some are going to rank lower. She is one of those songs that's honestly more fun to play than it is to listen to. As a musician, that one's just fun to riff on. The half steps, it's a thing that a lot of 70s bands did, where they just have a bunch of half steps all in a row, and it's fun to play, but not as enjoyable as a listen as some of the other songs in the catalog. But whenever I see like my friends jamming on the song, I want to start jamming on it with them. So it is a fun song to just pick up the guitar and play. So I'll give it that.
It's funny you bring that up because it was either this or Parasite. I think is one of those that was the first Kiss song I ever learned how to play on guitar. So it's funny that you bring that up actually as your first
Probably
play.
She, because she's a little bit easier.
I don't know. Parasite's pretty easy too, other than like a little bit in the solo. It's pretty punk rock in its chords. But yeah, I think this should be higher. Like I'd rank this a step above middle. I think. Also partially thinking of the live version with the cool Ace outro, but.
Well,
But yeah, this song's great. I mean, especially when you're like a young boy hearing it, you're like, she takes off her clothes. Yeah! Tell him, Gene, and the cool drum fill in the middle.
That's
really
true.
cool,
That is cool. I mean, we're past the bad songs on the album.
Yeah.
Like the rest are legitimately all good songs.
But let's be fair, the Wicked Lester version's the best with the flute solo.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, no, it is better. I definitely agree with
This
that.
one, though, I didn't rank it as high purely because of the way it sounds on the album. Like it's not
fair, yeah.
not really the greatest studio song, but listen to the live version and it's great. It takes you away. I mean, it's just you get lost in it.
That's one thing I've really been noticing with this process is, like, I sort of, because I haven't listened to these songs, I didn't get introduced at Destroyer or Alive, like everybody else did. I got introduced at Kiss and Hotter Than Hell. I got it right. I didn't call it Warmer Than Hell.
Did you really call it that?
Hotter than
So many times. But it's sort of interesting to like listen to it starting from the beginning, and I sort of view it from an artist development sort of perspective, right? That was a thing that happened back then. Is a record label would pick up a band that they thought had promise, and they would just funnel money into it in the hopes that it would stick. And sometimes, like Kiss, that really paid off. And 3 or 4 albums in, they figured out what they were doing and hit their stride and made $1 bajillion. And that's sort of interesting to, like, everybody's talking about the Alive versions of these songs.
So you haven't heard
I haven't heard the Alive versions.
Well, that's
so
the
I'm
next
hearing
episode.
only the album
You're going to be
versions.
so wowed by
Yeah,
that.
that's the
So-
next episode, obviously.
so-
The next Kiss Relate episode.
Originally, we were actually planning on just doing studio albums.
Oh, you got to do it.
I
live
think we
episode.
I think we have to do at least Alive.
Just to get his reaction of, now what do you think of the song? You know.
Yeah.
I think like we have to. I didn't want to because I'm like, whatever. It's just live versions of the songs. He doesn't need to, but
That's night and day difference.
for the historic
Kiss, yeah.
context,
Yeah.
you might not need to hear Alive 2 or Alive 3,
Not really.
but Alive 1, I think we have to do an episode on since
Yeah.
every single person on this podcast
It's
has
the
talked
benchmark
about
of
it.
the original band.
Because that's true. I mean, when you start to get into the Love Gun tracks, people are usually like, "Oh, this song's cool," but they never say like, "Oh, the Alive 2 version's better." For the most part,
Right,
they're just
yeah.
like, "This is a good song."
But
like,
yeah, I think we. Oh, so I mean, it pretty much is a studio album. Oh, suck it, Kiss nerds.
I'm not saying a word.
Esoteric
Ruining the
references
magic.
to how sausage is made.
Oh,
where's Ted Nugent?
Come on, man. They blasted Tomorrow and Tonight all the time live.
all the time, and Hard Luck Woman.
And Hard Luck Woman.
They have played it twice now,
Yeah, they have.
and they actually even announced it as we've never played this one live before. I love that.
Savage.
They like stopped caring apparently.
That's why I always love when Paul Stanley, he doesn't know what the hell album anything's right. This one's from Alive! Like, because he knows he's like 75% likely to be right.
It's probably from one of the Alive.
And it's Heaven's on Fire.
This one's called Under the Road.
Probably know this from the Phantom of the Park soundtrack.
This one's called Rip and Destroy.
I want to hear them do that on the cruise.
That'd
Yes.
be amazing. We just have to let Phil Schaus do it though.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of want to just see Paul Stanley with dementia, just still up on stage, not remembering anything. Who here likes alcohol? Yeah, that's it. Who likes that?
Does this explain why you forgot how to sing? No, just never mind.
Oh. All right. Well,
The irony is my Paul Stanley imitation is actually my Dr. Roxo the Rock and Roll Clown imitation.
well, we are as we do more of these episodes, we are more and more severing whatever positive ties we might have had with Kiss
You can cut
because
that out if you want.
we
I blew my shot at an interview with him years ago. believe me.
I
We hope
like-
to become famous when they finally sue us.
Yeah, well,
I
Stop slandering us on your podcast!
I have been threatened by an ex-member of Kiss. I'll tell you that all.
With a lawsuit or with a broken bottle?
Was it-
lawsuit?
was it Vinnie
Okay.
Vincent?
We'll talk about it.
I might have to leave that part in.
You can, I don't care.
It was obviously Mark St. John.
Just release it after January 20th, okay?
So
That-
transitioning
yeah.
out of that.
that Mark St. John Expo in Portland, Oregon, man. You know, he's back alive and well.
Oh, wow.
I legit do love the Magic Bullet Theory. That is.
Oh, I do too. It's a great album.
Yeah, it's great.
I even like some of that White Tiger stuff.
I mean, I have White Tiger.
Yeah.
I mean, we're like nerding out over
I
here.
don't know what these phrases mean other than a magic bullet was what killed JFK and White Tiger is slang for coke.
You figured it out.
That's what
Mark
they're talking
St.
about.
John was the second gunman on the grassy knoll.
So he did a lot
Yeah.
of coke
As he
and
was
then
doing
assassinated
Before he
JFK.
joined Kiss, he killed Kennedy.
All right.
He was a complicated man.
Does anyone else have anything to say about She before we move on?
Oh, shit, we're talking about
Right, She. Tangents.
I felt like it was a middling solid song. It wasn't bad, nothing really stuck out.
Have you heard
Either
the
way.
Wicked Lester version?
No,
With the
You
flute
need to hear
solo.
That's a good solo.
It
I've
has,
heard this version.
it has a flute solo on it.
Yeah.
That's pretty
I mean, that
sick.
sounds pretty great.
It is pretty great.
Is there a Jethro Tull version too?
It might as well.
Why are we not doing a Wicked Lester episode?
There's so many albums.
If you really wanted to start about it, you should play that and start with that.
It's not canon. Only canon albums.
And Alive.
And Alive.
Yeah.
I might want to do Fake Psycho Circus, says there's enough songs from Psycho Circus that were just cut from the album. There's like a full, 10 songs
Yeah,
they
and even
recorded.
those suck too. No, sorry.
Well, It's My Life is Great. It's My Life
No,
is
that's
Great.
that's like
The Bon Jovi song?
no, it's
No,
better than the Bon Jovi
not
song.
at all.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest crimes that Kiss ever committed is never putting that on an album.
Yeah,
True.
that was a really bad decision.
I
Like
still
what
don't understand that one.
I would say probably the single worst musical decision they've ever
That
made
song
was not
would
put.
have been a top 10 hit.
And they thought about it a lot, obviously, for a while.
Yeah, they demoed it for like 3 different albums.
Yeah.
That's poor life choices.
Yep.
I mean, but also they make a lot more money than us, so maybe good life choices.
But
I don't know.
they put Nothing Can Keep Me From You out on the Detroit Rock City soundtrack. That was obviously
And
an
I
amazing
finally
decision.
found my way to you on Psycho Circus.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the eyes glaze over of the non-Kiss
Sorry.
fans.
I saw Detroit Rock City.
Alright, next on the list, coming in at number 7, Anything for My Baby, a.k.a. Kiss heard Bachman Turner Overdrive. It's like, guys, let's put acoustic guitars in our songs now, because that's cool.
Well played.
I like this one. It's
I
fun. It's a catchy, fun song. I like catchy, fun songs, which makes Kiss a really enjoyable band because that's like the main thing they do is catchy, fun.
It like gives me like an oldies kind of vibe. I forgot the era. You know.
That's because it is old.
See, this is the one where the lyrics stuck out enough for me to really pay attention. The meat looks good lyric, I remember. And then this one, like the chorus, every time it got to that, it kept on annoying me that it's, I would steal anything for my baby, you know, yada yada, crawl or kneel, anything for my baby. Like, you don't have the symmetry. The lyrics don't match each other. And every time that happened, like, all right, first line, we got a thing. Second line, you broke the thing. Third line, the thing still fixed the thing.
I did put this one near the end of my list.
Really?
For no real reason. I don't dislike the song. It just never has like been my favorite, you know.
I also put this one at the end of my list, or near it,
Yeah.
because again, it was very repetitive. And, yeah.
It was rad when they opened the cruise a couple years back with it, and everybody
Yeah.
thought they were opening with Rock and Roll All Night because that's the same drum intro.
Exact same drum pattern.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's a great tease to the audience.
Oh, totally. No, I think it's a great song. I like that they threw the acoustic guitars in there. That was Neil Bogart's idea since he was producing the record.
Right.
And I'm sure he was like, Bachman Turner Overdrive's doing good with it. You guys should do it too.
Oh yeah, so totally forgot to mention this for Steve, historical context. So this third album was produced by the head of the record label who heard the first two albums like, you know what?
Yeah.
These first two albums sound like garbage. I'm going to produce it and I'm going to make you guys sound awesome.
And I'm
I
gonna
read that on
go,
Wikipedia.
Oh, okay.
and he's gonna do a lot of cocaine while doing it.
And weed. Like Peter Chris said, he remembered the whole studio just being flooded with pot smoke the whole
I mean,
time.
he did a better job.
Yeah.
He did.
He was clearly onto something.
This would have been a cool song to have on Unplugged, though.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's
Yeah, that would-
strange
yeah.
that they didn't put that on.
Yeah, so they did a lot of kind of out of the blue stuff. This would have worked on it.
Yeah,
the blues stuff, you say?
Out of the blue stuff. Out of the blues.
So my thing with Kiss in terms of simplicity, Kiss has over the course of their career, stated many times that they were trying in the early days to be a heavy metal version of the Beatles. So the Beatles, but a little bit harder. The rest of the panel, for those of you at home who do not know, they're younger, they're millennials. They grew up with the Britney Spears and all that other stuff.
Greg, I'm older than you, and I grew up with Britney Spears.
Yeah, I don't think that's an accurate.
Chris is the same age
Yeah.
as me. He grew up with Britney Spears.
I think you mean Katy Perry and Lady Gaga.
Yeah, they grew up with the Katy Perry
Yeah.
and the Lady Gaga, so they're used to
Did you say Kids Pop?
Kids Bop.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said K-pop for a second. I was like, yeah, Girls' Generation. Yeah, let's do that.
Oh man, Hyuna.
Pom, way, pom.
Yeah, we should do a Bubble Pop episode. We're just talking about Bubble Pop for 2 hours straight.
Just ranking the best parts of the Bubble Pop video.
Yeah, that's the one line that needs to be on.
I'm lost.
When you go home tonight,
I was like lost on like a lot of the Kiss terms.
When-
Now we're getting into this.
when you go home tonight, this is for the listeners as well. YouTube Bubble Pop, the
Bubble
first,
Pop?
yes,
Bubble
the
Pop.
first Korean music video that comes up. Watch it, and as a straight man, you will have a great time.
I'm sure about that.
Yeah, it's a music video. It's not anything dirty, but
okay.
you'll still have a great time.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, very catchy song too.
But back to the tangent I was originally on, discussing this.
Which tangent are we
Get
on
back
now?
on
I've
the
lost
correct
track.
tangent, damn it.
The tangent about older songwriting. For me, a gigantic Beatles fan, I really love when Kiss is doing very simple, very poppy, old school rock and roll with slightly distorted guitars. Like, my ideal band musically is a band that's the Beatles, but a little bit heavier. So that's why I really love Kiss and have loved them for years. That's just it's a sound that I gravitate towards and emulate in my own music and appreciate a lot. But I understand how it's not necessarily the cup of tea for everybody.
This almost kind of has a power pop sound to it. Like I could have heard Cheap Trick doing this, or Sweet, or one of those bands. But I don't know. It's kind of strange that they never pulled this one out live back in the day, because it seems like it's relatively easy to play. But no, I mean, it's not like the most remarkable thing they've done, but it's a decent song.
Alright, moving on to number 6 on the list. This one I thought was going to rank higher originally. Rock Bottom ended up at number 6 on the list.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, my bad. Room Service did, not Rock Bottom.
Oh,
Wait,
also
Room
wow.
Service was number 6?
Room Service
What?
is number
You're
6.
all wrong.
I agree.
was my least favorite.
Oh, man.
Room service?
Yeah, it was
That was,
very
like, middle
repetitive.
for
It was
me.
like room service nonstop.
This was the other one with the
I'm
lyrics
hungry.
stuck
Bring me
out.
food, girls.
Right. This was the one where the lyrics stuck out to me, but sort of in a good way. That, like, obviously it's about him just like banging random women that he encounters, but they do a pretty good job of the plausible deniability of it. Is the entire first verse, he could just straight up be talking about ordering food later. The entire second verse could just straight up be about him being on an airplane and be like, yes, please do bring me a snack. The third verse, he's absolutely 100% committing statutory rape.
Maybe it's Gene's fault. He was the one who said that the meat looks good tonight, so Paul decided to order room service.
I mean, Paul had some like eating disorders through the years, so like he's like, well,
Really, in terms of sequencing, they messed up not putting that right next to ladies in waiting, so there wasn't a plausible deniability. It was like, ladies waiting to give me some food.
It's also about just like food.
Did we discover that this is actually a concept album about just ordering some food?
We're young and hungry, literally.
Literally, that is how we are thin. Our albums don't sell and we have no money for food.
We live in a van. Please just give us sausages.
If you look at the under sleeve, it's the guys holding signs that say, we'll play music for food.
We'll rock and roll all night and party every day for food.
I think I put this as like maybe like second on my rankings
Really?
because
I
I
think it was
love this song
It was
so
like
much.
maybe 3 or 4 for me. I think.
Again, my intro to this was the "You Want the Best, You Got the Best" version. With
Yeah,
that like
another
1996
great
Paul
version.
vocal, yeah.
Yep.
And my old band Manpower, this was probably the basis for half our lyrics. What do you think about it?
Yeah. I mean, you did
I mean-
play a lot of anime conventions and liked Kiss and food and
Well, and I mean,
girls.
still one of my favorite lyrics I ever wrote, the opening lyric to Quick and Easy was, "I don't want something that'll last too long, I just want to get you down to your thong," which there was no innuendo there, but it comes from songs like this.
I mean, that
But
was-
the intro to that song was all about ramen.
Yeah, well, that was the joke always. We were like, this is a song about ramen, which had a bit of a Kiss reference in there too, because it's like the opposite there a little. But yeah, so I put this one pretty high. I love this song. This is one that should be in the set list. Like when you talk about those obscure songs that are never played, this is one I think should be in there.
So I think it's interesting. I think there's a very decisive split in the panel between people who have listened to Kiss and the people being introduced to Kiss for the first time. So,
Oh, if I'm you guys, I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
so like Steve, who
Nerds.
is aggressively, seeing the evolution of Kiss, is like, yeah, I dig this song.
I'm just happy they're playing the songs at speed.
And then you've got the diehard Kiss fans like, yeah, Room Service, great, it's a classic. And everyone like, oh man, this song is so repetitive.
But all the rest of you guys weren't into that.
Well, I wasn't here for the Hotter Than Hell discussion, so I can only imagine your opinion of Strange Ways. Not good, huh?
I don't remember.
I love Strange Ways. That was
was the Peter
you were the
song.
one you were disappointed that the follow up to Black Diamond was Strange Ways.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that was
Really
I thought it was
slow.
pretty mediocre.
So this one guy I know, like we're not going too off topic, but when he found out I like Kiss, literally like the first words out of his mouth, I knew these were like an actual Kiss fan. He's like, "Man, Strange Ways." I was like, "That is great. That's great. We can actually talk."
Man, I love Kiss so much. Rock and Roll All Night and Party Every Day is my favorite song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lick It Up's pretty good too.
All right, coming up next on the list, which I'm glad it didn't rank towards the bottom because Peter is my dude. Get Away.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
Full disclosure to, actually, you probably know this, that Peter is my favorite member of Kiss.
Yeah, this has been talked about.
Yes,
This has been talked about making a song out of it, so
yes. So
it's a thing.
I'm a big Peter Chris fan. Love what he adds to the band musically. I think I did a lot of jazz and swing and blues in high school, so I gravitated towards a lot of what Peter brought to the band stylistically.
And he might have wrote the best book out of all of them.
Oh, his book was definitely the best. That book
Full of
was
dirt.
that was the most vulgar book I've read in my entire life. That book made the dirt look tame. I was like, damn, Peter Chris.
He doesn't like Paul Stanley,
He
man.
does not. He does not. He doesn't like a lot of people.
Then
but,
again,
like,
neither does Paul. Paul doesn't really like Peter Chris very much either.
there's some bad blood between them. But that Peter, I understand his musical limitations. I've said this on every episode. I understand he has the pitch issues singing. I understand his limitations as a drummer, as a songwriter. I get all of that. I still love what he brought to the band in terms of his energy, style, and persona. I know Ace wrote the song, but Peter added, some great swing to it, some great vocals. I dig it a lot. I love the Peter songs on the albums. They're always a highlight for me, and I love this song.
I mean, it's a fun song, and his voice is perfect for it. I wouldn't want to hear anyone else sing this song. And but I agree with you. Like when I first got into Kiss, when I first got into the original Kiss, he was my favorite member also. Because I wanted to be a drummer back then, but it was before I picked up the guitar. And like at one point, I could play his full live drum solo on my knees with my hands. Like
Nice.
it's hard to write a drum solo that
I could
sticks
sing
in
that
your
drum
brain.
solo when I was a kid.
See,
So.
that live drum, this is another reason why you need to do a live episode.
Yeah, I mean, that drum solo is great.
It's iconic. And,
That drum solo is also a cheat code for me when I do the Touch Tunes jukebox. I'm like, all right, this song's like 11 minutes. Getting my dollar worth. Yeah.
But that's another great track.
Until it shut you down.
It's a surprise it never got put out live. Because I mean, it would have worked out. Have they even played that even on the cruise? I don't even know.
They did. They had Eric sing it.
Yeah.
For some reason.
I mean, well,
Yeah, that's a whole can of worms.
It sounded good though.
Yeah.
I mean, like musically,
Yeah, Eric can sing
and he's
that
a very
song.
proficient singer. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, he's Eric Singer.
Yeah, exactly. It's in his name.
But no, yeah, I like the song. But it's definitely you hear that song and you know this is definitely from the '70s because it's it's a dated song.
It does sound a bit dated. Yeah.
Yeah.
But dated's not necessarily a bad
No, it's
thing.
not
If
a
you
bad
love the
thing.
70s, if
No,
you're
I
into
think
the
it's great.
70s, you're like, yes, date me.
I mean, half of the current metal scene is just still trying to sound like Black Sabbath. So I mean, there's that at least.
It's true.
Unless you're Greta Van Fleet, then you're trying to sound like Led Zeppelin.
That too. Yeah.
Steve, you're about to say something?
I was going to say, Greg, how many times have you, put a song in the jukebox, and then the manager gone over and typed in their override code to stop your song from playing?
Well, the one time I think I played 7 Jim Steinman songs in a row was when they got really upset with
7,
me.
8 minute
What's
or
wrong with
longer
that?
Jim
Jim
Steinman
Steinman
songs in a row.
Right, Jim Steinman is my favorite American songwriter by a wide margin. He is up there with John Lennon and Paul McCartney. I love you, Jim. Thank you for praising my music. Notice me, senpai.
Prince is better.
They let him get through about 4 before they punched in the override code and cut him off.
Yeah,
We need
I
to put
paid
in.
for it.
We need to put in 2 Sun songs because that's like 2 hours of music
Yeah.
that no one wants to hear.
And then the boys are back in town on repeat.
I'm gonna
Have
put
you
in.
read that article?
Yes, it's amazing.
Genius.
Yes.
I'm gonna just put in the ex-Japan song "Art of Life."
Oh yeah.
which is twice.
The live version and the studio version.
Oh
Have you
yes.
ever tried to type those songs into jukeboxes? Because I do that sort of thing all the time. Please give me some Dragged into the Sunlight. How about The Body? Just anything that's 20 minutes long. No, never mind. Okay.
So I assume, based upon the crickets from the rest of the panel, that no one has much to say
okay,
about Peter Chris.
Actually, it was a big sound when my first impression to it. I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of energy, good breakdowns and good solos. I really enjoyed this out of it.
Digging the cat man, my man.
I'm down with that.
This was a fairly middling song. It was solid. There wasn't anything that particularly was that bad about it. I ranked it a little bit lower than some of the other ones because this was one of the ones where I noticed the production starting to fall apart a little bit.
The cocaine was setting in.
No,
The cocaine and the weed.
It's probably a weird thing. This was probably a later master or something did this, but
By the way, remember, Joe mastered this.
I mean, yeah, Joe did a great job of Hotter Than Hell. I noticed this one, the guitar solo, the guitar was turned up too loud, and there was some clipping on it, digital clipping of some sort. I don't know. I hope Joe didn't do that.
I mean, that might have just been the
If
volume.
they split it, it's awesome. Shut up.
I mean, I'm pretty sure, I have the record. That solo is really loud on the record.
It is,
So
yeah.
that was probably just trying to balance the integrity of what Neil Bogart and all of his weed intended that to sound like. No, crank it up! Crank it up!
He was like, Ace wrote this one. Make sure he's loud in the mix.
I mean, it's possible. When you master for record, you sort of have a limit of you don't get the same sort of clipping. The analog format's tape and record, you get sort of a natural leveling of things, and with digital, you just reach a point where it's just cuts off. And it's possible that in order to make it match the rest of the thing without just turning the entire album down, you had to turn it up to the point that it was clipping. And only a handful of people are actually going to care enough to notice that kind of thing, especially when you have it bounced down to MP3 where it's doing that anyway.
Right. Well, now that we've lost the panel even further.
I'll see how many Kiss fans. Oh, I guess the panel, yeah.
Yeah, the Kiss fans are just well, actually, the Kiss fans are pissed at you for saying anything bad about Kiss.
It's true. You guys want to talk about audio fidelity, though?
All right. Coming in at number 4 on the list. a song I absolutely love. Love Her All I Can.
Oh,
This
only
one,
four.
great riff. Just great riff. This one, yeah, we're at the cream of the crop here. I think there's in my opinion, a big jump in quality between the last song, which I still love, and this one. Like, this one is prime Kiss, just classic, fun riff, lyrics that are more respectful of women, which is nice. Like, I'm gonna treat my girl really well and give her things that she wants and needs. Like, yeah. Good. Treat your woman well.
And then I'm gonna write "Fits Like a Glove" a couple years later.
But this is Paul.
It
not
must
Gene.
be love.
Oh, that is true. To be fair, yeah, but as a band, is
Right,
what
as
I'm
a
saying,
band.
yeah.
As a band, he still was involved in that song.
This is my favorite song on the album.
Is it?
Yeah, I love this song. Yeah, they should play it live. You know, like again,
They
kind
did
of
it on the Rock Nation tour.
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
And then didn't really seem to play it much after that.
Paul doesn't like this song, and I've read interviews with.
Does he not?
No, he said he acquiesced to Tommy and Gene, or Tommy and Eric, to play this live. They bugged the hell out of him. They're like, "Come on, you should play it live."
Because they knew how good it was.
But he's like, he says to this day he never understood what anyone sees in the song.
I mean,
this goes back to pre-Kiss. This is a song from
Another one,
Wicked
yeah.
Lester era. So this song was actually done in '72 when they still had a flute player in the band.
Right.
Which I do think the Kiss version destroys the Wicked
Oh,
Lester,
absolutely.
obviously.
Oh yeah, it's way
It's
better.
debatable is she, but
Yeah, well, she's just so cool with the flute solo. But
yeah,
but this song, I think the highlight of this song is you get two lead parts from Ace on it.
yeah.
You know, it ends. Some of Ace's best playing is on this song.
Yeah.
I think it's one of.
I think that's part of the reason I love it, honestly.
Yeah, it's one of his best, most thought out solos. It's a hummable solo. Yeah,
It's so good.
it's a great song. You ever hear Anthrax's cover of it?
Yes.
It's a great
It's
cover.
awesome.
Do they
Yeah.
have a flute solo?
No,
No, they don't.
Anthrax had fired their flute player by that point.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So is this the thing? Flute players and bands?
No, not really.
Not really, no. That's why we're making such a big joke about it.
Just Jethro Tull. That's the only one.
Jethro Tull and the band that happened before Kiss.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
Jethro Tull and Wicked Lester is Rarefied Air.
Yeah.
Wicked Lester was the band that Gene and Paul were in before being in
Kiss.
Kiss.
And they had a flute player.
And because they were rushed in doing this album, they brought in a couple old Wicked Lester songs
Yeah,
because they're
She
like,
was
shoot, we
also-
don't have enough songs, and we decided not to do Life in the Woods.
Another
wish they
missed
would-
opportunity.
I really wish they would record that one.
Yeah.
I mean, they did record it once.
Well, they didn't record. That's a bootleg that you heard.
Somebody showed up at a show with a tape recorder.
Have you heard that?
Yes.
Oh yeah, he heard it because I gave it to him, and then he's like, "Let me play this for everyone I know."
Greg covered it.
I
Did
did
you really?
on my
Cover is a loose term.
on
I have
my
to hear this.
on my
On the
punk
podcast,
album.
you can't see this, but I'm doing quotation marks with my hands.
Okay.
SirArthurConanVomit.bandcamp.com.
Yes, you will hear a very
Good luck.
It is my collaboration with Kiss.
I want to hear this.
It is.
It's pretty bad.
I just let the music speak for itself.
So Life in the Woods would be easy, but listening to it might not be.
Not quite.
So is this a song that hasn't been like produced and it's just like played live and then someone recorded
So,
it with the tape recorder?
Yeah.
Life in the Woods is an old Kiss song from the early days of their set list
They were
that
playing
they
clubs.
never, when they were playing clubs, that never got put on an album.
When they let Peter talk to the crowd, that was a good idea.
And so,
You all know this one. It's Life in the Woods.
yes. And so, Steve and I are in a joke punk band called Snake Vomit, where we are an intentionally bad punk band, and we focus really hard on not writing songs and playing our instruments poorly.
We have worked so hard at not writing songs.
We work very hard at not writing songs. And each of us released a solo album, much like how Kiss released 4 solo albums
That was
at
the
the same
reason
time.
it came, because
Yes.
of you and Dee.
And so,
Dee needs to be on one of these discussions, by the way, about Kiss stuff.
absolutely.
She has a Hard Luck Woman tattoo, I mean.
And so my album was called Burning All of Our Bridges Professionally and Losing All of Our Friends, where I just insulted everyone I knew in the industry, all the bands, record labels, clubs, and I covered Life in the Woods with Kiss, where I just spliced up the song in such a way where it just spoke to the musical ability of early club Kiss.
And this is why Lipstick is starting a podcast.
I was just about to say, this is how we wound up with you hosting a podcast.
That is technically my most commercially successful project. I lost no money on it and made $14.
Congrats.
Wow, that's
What?
You
depressing.
made more than Kiss did that night they played Life in the Woods.
That's true.
But in terms of pure profit, like Lipstick has made way more money than that. But I've also put in way more money into Lipstick. the profit margin of 0 versus anything.
You made nothing but profit.
Right, that's nothing but profit. But enough about my joke punk band. Moving on to number 3 on the list is Room Service. I mean Rock Bottom.
Okay, this makes more sense.
Yes.
It's a good song.
This almost came in right at my list. This was my number 2.
Yeah, this is near the top for me too.
Yeah.
Because it's a good song. It's got that intro, and then you got Paul just jumping in, just like, I'm gonna rock! And
A thing
It's
I
a-
love
it's
about this
rough.
one is that
It gets
intro.
rough.
That intro was so clearly filler. It was entirely there just to pad the album out. Like, shoot, let's just play acoustic guitar for 2 minutes so that we have more content.
Yep.
But it's one of the high
it's
points
cool.
in the album. It's so.
Did you know that the acoustic part has a name?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Ace and Paul collaborated on it. It's called George.
No.
That's what they call it.
That is an odd title for that.
Good call not including that title because that's not worth
It's
it.
actually Peter Chris's real first name.
It sounded like 2 songs for me. Like the intro.
it was at one point. So.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you hear
George and
George.
Rock
Yeah.
And I was like, alright, it makes sense. It was 2 songs. And it's like, let's throw these 2 together.
Yeah. For me, I ranked this one really high because I liked the 2 different songs very separately. Like, I loved the acoustic part. It was really beautiful and, like, I liked it. And then the hard rock part was really great, or I guess you could call it hard rock. But I really enjoyed them all separately. But it did scare me when we went from, like, acoustic to, like,
That's called rock and roll.
Yeah. It's supposed to be
definitely
scary.
jumped in my seat.
It's supposed to scare parents and millennials.
That is actually a really great point. To like Kiss, you have to be in the certain age group where you're either too old or too young to
I don't know. Actually, I know someone that's definitely on the too young. Well, yeah, I guess that makes sense what you're just saying. But they're more on the millennial side of things. So
Millennials, that age group I belong to.
I know
in the Kiss industry.
a fun note. I know that my dad, for some reason, even though he liked Kiss in the '70s, but like when I was younger, he remembered this song being called "Rock Bottle" for some reason.
Rock Bottle.
Fun fact, and would just kind of be like, "Yeah, Rock Bottle's great." It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
He misunderstood a lot of lyrics. I realized later, but
Right.
that's just a fun antidote
I heard
there.
that was a big thing back then. That like when people were trying to do like bands were trying to do covers for songs, like they'll like mess up the lyrics because they just didn't understand it or something like that.
Yep.
Yep.
You used to be able to buy books. Like you could go into a Walden Books.
You used to be able to buy books. The end.
Yes.
You used to be able to go into a Walden Books when that was a thing, and then like the comedy section, they'd be like, "Here's a big old list of misheard lyrics."
Yeah.
It's
I
called
know
"He's
that.
got the whole world in his pants." Ha ha!
So this song for me, I like it a lot. I think the only flaw I really have with it is in the intro, and that the intro is too repetitive.
It's a little long.
If the intro had some more, it was either cut down or they had some different parts, I think it would be a lot stronger. It's still strong, it's still very pretty, but that is sort of my one critique of the song. Otherwise, I love it. But
Yeah.
that's the one thing I would say. I wish the intro changed up a little bit more. I also wish the second guitar part that's in the background was louder in the mix. It's really, really quiet.
But it's got an acoustic backing guitar track.
Yeah, I'm talking the melody playing in the background.
Yeah.
Like I want that to be a little bit louder.
I do remember, too, another weird one on this. I remember distinctly my first time seeing Kiss when I was little. I was, like, bite-size on the reunion tour. And I do remember, like, all the lights going down when they did the acoustic intro to it.
that was
And it just shining on them. And, like, for some reason, that sticks out on the show a lot more than some of the other parts because I can actually visualize it very well still. So,
This one was really
Left an
great on
impact.
Unplugged also.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because, as you said, it was about to get rough.
This song starts out soft, and then it gets hard.
So Steve, you'll notice a trend. People are saying a lot of really good things about Alive and a lot of really good things about Unplugged, and you don't really hear much about Alive 2 and Alive 3. Even though
What about Alive 4?
I loved Alive 3. I bought it on release
Alive
day.
4?
Yeah.
How many concerts did these
There's
guys play?
there's kind of two Alive 4s, funny enough.
there
Right?
are,
Technically, by
and
title.
I have my opinion on which one is better, and also Alive 3 is great.
I love Alive
That's a
3.
great
Yeah.
album.
Yeah.
But
It's
moving
like
on.
Alive 4 and Alive 4 Alpha Turbo.
No, there was
That was Judas Priest.
yeah. No, there was an Alive 4 that got scrapped, and then a completely different Alive 4 with an orchestra.
And then the one that got scrapped got released later.
Yeah.
Right.
Just being called alive for the Millennium concerts.
Which should have stayed scrapped.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I like
the
that
tempos on that are horrible, though.
Well, Peter Chris, he's old.
I know, but God, he plays like he's dead.
Aw, sad face.
So my attempts to book Peter on the show are becoming slimmer and slimmer. Coming
We
up,
did say his book was good, though.
Peter, I love you.
You also
Please,
gave
yeah.
high praise to Getaway, which is good because it's a great song.
Peter, I give high praise to all of your songs.
I'm following
Notice me, senpai.
I'm just helping you out with your whole tradition of burning bridges.
That's true.
You'll notice that his album doesn't have a song called Peter Chris Sucks.
That's true.
That's true. I do have a Jim Steinman song on that album, and I love Jim, and he actually has given me praise. He hasn't heard Jim Steinman the song, I'm sure.
Now I'm really intrigued.
All right.
You wrote a song about
I don't
Jim
think he would
Steinman?
actually be able to
Don't get too
hear it.
excited, trust me.
Oh, really?
I feel like if Jim Steinman listens to a song less than 10 minutes long, it doesn't even register as a
No,
thing
it was
that
8
happened.
minutes.
Was it? Oh, jeez.
So I bet he's a big fan of Sun, actually.
Right? He's like, oh, this is great, but I wish it had more dick jokes.
All right. Coming in at number 2 on the list. I thought this one was going to win with a bunch of non-Kiss fans on the panel, but it did not. Rock and Roll All Night came in at number 2.
Thank God it didn't win.
This was number 5 for me.
Ooh.
I mean, it's a great.
Okay.
How do you? You can't deny how great it is, but the Alive version is much better.
All right. So
Wait, how did it rank so high? I put it at number 2.
Okay,
Did
I
anyone
put
put it at number 1?
I put it at number 1.
Okay.
Did you really?
This is
Why?
All right. I'm.
The disdain between the Kiss fans.
We're just all sick to death of the
Yeah.
And like, okay,
This is
you guys
probably
are.
the song
You
I've heard
guys,
the most in my life, period.
all right. So you guys
I
are
would say that
coming
might
at
not
it
be wrong.
from the perspective of burnt out Kiss
We're
fans.
playing with house money. We hate it.
You're Kiss fans who have heard the song a million times.
I put it
Right.
somewhere in the middle to be fair.
This
but
is
still.
the rock and roll national anthem.
I don't deny
This
how
is
important it is.
one of the greatest rock songs ever written. And even though we're sick of hearing it,
Yep.
it is bigger than Kiss is. When people forget about Kiss, people will still know this song. This song, even people who don't know Kiss know this song.
But
And
let's
it
put the
still
X and
resonates
Sex
with
is
it.
better.
Argue
What?
it.
This is where we part ways, my friend.
Yeah. It's not better.
Okay. Now you make me rock hard. That.
Maybe that one.
So while this might not be my favorite song on the album, I think it is undeniably
A song on the album.
undeniably the best song on the album for me, and I think in terms of rock history, this is the song that is remembered off the album, and I think it's remembered for a reason. I think it is strong, it is anthemic, it isn't as strong as the Alive version, obviously.
It's neutered
And
compared to
no
the
solo.
Alive one.
the solo lacking from the song is a
ridiculous.
big strike against it for the studio version. I don't know why it wasn't in there, but it's still the rock and roll
Yeah.
national anthem, and I still put it as number 1 on my list.
There's nothing about shopping for meat in it. I mean,
The big thing I noticed with this, listening to it, like actually sitting down, critically listening to it, I've heard this song a
Of
bajillion
course.
times, but I've never critically listened to it, was like, it's slightly under 3 minutes long, which seems like the correct amount of time for this song to take, because it's only got 3 lyrics.
yeah.
But it has no solo. It's neutered.
Right, it's got the verse, then the chorus a couple more times, then the verse another time, then the chorus a bunch of times, and then it ends, and you're like, oh, thank goodness, it's over.
My
Tell you
question
that
is,
solo
what
is
put it as a hit? Like
The
what,
solo.
What part? Okay, the solo.
The Alive version, not this
The-
version.
Okay.
The live version is way peppier and sounds way better.
Right. This would be a fun one to like sing along with at a concert, where everybody's just chanting, "I
Yes.
want to rock and roll all the." Yeah,
And-
like that's.
And in fairness, I've seen Kiss, which I know you have multiple times. Even though I'm burned out as hell on this song, you still get into it when
It's the
because they
confetti.
always close the show with it.
I think it's like the energy it brings with it. Like everyone can get involved.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows it.
Yeah.
You
Because
know,
there's only one lyric.
Yeah, exactly. It's super easy. Like,
Maybe
when
this-
when you're at a concert and you don't know any of the songs, you can like kind of jam, dance. But when you know the one song, of course you're gonna get really excited.
And there's
about it.
confetti cannons
And then
blowing up, and it's a celebration.
This
song.
might be the song that has influenced P. Leonard Z more than any other song ever then.
Ironically, the one they covered was Detroit Rock City.
Exactly. And they sang the solo instead of playing it.
I think we were like brainwashed in like elementary school and stuff with this song too.
Really?
The thing to also remember is the live version destroys the song, and you never actually hear this version on the radio. It's always live version.
Yeah.
You never hear this version. This version
tanked on the radio.
Yeah, this version wasn't a hit.
It was like
it was
86
the live
out of the top
version.
100. It didn't do well at all. Right?
Yeah. But the live version of the song is what really brought it out. But I think the song was still there.
Yep.
And because of its importance, I'm still ranking it. I'm ranking this more based upon how I view them as songs, as not necessarily the execution, but how I rank them as songs. And so ranking them as songs, this is the most important Kiss song, period. It is the most representative of Kiss, period. Is it my favorite Kiss song? No. But it's still...
It's no Read My Body.
It is no Read My Body. Oh, man.
It's really
What is?
representative.
What is?
I feel like they don't even mention Gene's genitals once. How representative can it be?
I think most people
no,
would put that in the plus.
Actually, it is representative because you show us everything you got.
There you go.
You're looking good and the room looks hot.
All right, that's fair.
This is so representative. It's about partying, rock and roll, and girls. This is the Kiss song.
It's all you need in life.
Not necessarily all you need in life, but all Kiss needs in life.
I do need some room service every once in a while. You get hungry.
Exactly. Some meat at the market.
Yeah, baby, I could use a meal. Gotta eat when you can, right?
Inside jokes.
Inside jokes.
Who here watches anime?
Who here listened to Lipstick 2? Coming in at number 1 on the list, which surprised me.
Coming, yeah.
This worked out well.
Come On and Love Me defeated
Yes.
Rock and Roll All Night as the best song on the album. So I was really surprised with that. I thought Rock and Roll All Night was going to take it. I think in terms of the recordings, this is the best sounding song on the album. Mm-hmm. Definitely. In terms of production and the things they did with it, I think this is the best sounding song. This also feels the most 70s to me out of all the songs out. This definitely has that 70s groove to it. Mm-hmm. Much in the same way that Got to Choose could only be on an album in the 70s, this song could only be on an album in the 70s.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, they come on and love. Yeah, that part is so smooth. I enjoy it.
It's very smooth.
It's catchy, it's lyrical, it's upbeat, it's like the head bob that you can do.
It's sexy.
It's the first song that Paul Stanley played lead on, so you got his really his leads are very emotive. I think he's underrated
Very
as a player
much,
in a lot of ways. I think
I've always said that about him.
Very good
always.
guitar player.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because there's even too, like, there's that thing to not overplaying, which a lot of lead guitarists don't understand. And not that Paul could, not that he's going to do the circles of, he's not going to do that, but I think there's a lot to be said for not overplaying, and he never does that, which is great, very underrated
Yeah, his
guitarist.
lead parts, they sound like lyrics, like they have a vocal line to them.
My favorite lead players always play with a lot of melody where you can hear it once, and that lead will stick in your head. And so that's why, a lot of people trash on C.C. DeVille, but I love his lead playing.
Yeah.
A lot of people...
Yeah, he's silly, but I like him.
Right. I like leads that are melodic and memorable.
He's my favorite member of Poison, so...
I'm not going to get into that kind of words because of other connections that I have, so... I'm not
Richie Kotzen, isn't it?
I'm gonna get no one booked on this podcast. All these Kiss episodes are gonna burn all my bridges. But you
labor under the assumption that the famous people we want to book for this podcast are going to have listened to it.
Actually,
first.
yeah. I mean,
That's
we're like
true.
a good.
How many episodes of any podcast that you get invited onto do you actually listen to?
That's true. I don't listen to any of them.
Plus,
I just show up and do it.
Let's be honest. Even with editing, you're at bare minimum 45 minutes into this. Like podcasts I've been on, there's been some before I've listened to 5 minutes of.
Yeah. So actually. Oh man, we could trash on everyone if they're not going to listen
at
to
this
it at
point.
all.
Yeah,
you can't open it. Everybody's turned it off by now.
Right, at this point I can just trash on everybody. I can
the 10-minute dissertation on.
I can say my honest opinions on Billy
that
Morris.
ruined
That drove most people out.
Once they hit number 2 and saw what that was, all right, process of elimination. I know what number 1 is. I don't need to listen to the rest.
Unless they're really if you're listening up to number 1, you maybe want to hear oh man, I want to hear them say how great "Come On and Love Me" is. Because when you watch those list videos, you always want to hear them talk about how awesome the number one is, and you're just like, yeah, it's so cool. But instead, we're just gonna talk trash at people.
Oh no, I can say something else about "Come On and Love Me." I love. Again, we're gonna go to the Alive one for a second. I love the Paul has so many over the top raps of "Let me talk for 20 minutes to the audience," but on Alive, he's just like, "Come on and love me!"
Yeah,
like,
just start playing.
You gotta love. He has the energy. He's like, "You're gonna love me." That's it.
I thought this song showed that they were really maturing as songwriters, and that this is the only song on the album with an apostrophe in the title, and it's not even replacing a G.
Steve has some opinions about them.
I got opinions on grammar.
And of course, the lyric that I know somebody in this room's not a fan of this lyric. I'll let them name themselves later if they want. But the one that Paul loves of the "You're good looking and you're looking like you should be good," I think that's genius.
I am not a fan.
That's not
Paul loves that lyric though.
Yeah, but I love the opening lyric.
The opening lyric's great too, but I love that one. As a songwriter from Manpower, I love that lyric.
Right, and as a songwriter for a band with good lyrics.
Oh, okay. So the person's naming themselves that doesn't like this lyric.
Yes, no,
let's be honest. The last Lipstick album had a song that was literally just trying to be the Manpower.
Right, that's fair. That's fair. We did do that, but
with cyborgs.
What I will say is there are songs of yours I wish I had written. I wish I had written "Rock and Roll Time Machine." And actually, I don't think your lyrics are necessarily bad. So I take back what I said. But this song, I don't think the lyrics are good. I think Kiss as a whole are bad lyricists.
Oh no.
I
can write songs about putting logs in fireplaces.
I love
album.
There is a
you'll get to it.
You'll get. Don't ruin it for him.
Yeah,
that song is gold.
Am I really ruining it for him? Though?
Yeah, that's an amazing.
Okay,
that should be.
When you consider the song,
that's what they should play every night. That's what they should close with every.
Oh
night.
yeah,
the greatest song about kindling ever written. Okay.
To be fair, there's a lot of winners during that.
There's a mindless self-indulgence song that immediately leapt to mind that I'm not going to name it.
The fact that he's so into grammar and
this one does too, actually.
Lyrics, I'm a devoted listener already, and you haven't launched your show because I want to hear his reaction to Gene Simmons' '80s output. Oh my god!
It's gonna be fantastic.
Can I please be on that episode specifically?
The '80s.
I mean, we'll take panelists on any episode. If you call dibs on whatever albums you want to be on, I know older, wiser Chris was saying he wants to be on The Elder.
I want to be The Elder with fucking trash.
Ooh, I want to be on The Elder. I want to be on all the awkward Kiss ones.
We have 30 people who want to be on The Elder.
The Elder's going to be a big situation.
Honestly, just show up here on any Thursday evening or Sunday afternoon and be like, hey, you guys recording a podcast right now? I'm in.
All right.
Or just hang out with us and we'll write lipstick songs.
Yeah, we're all about friendship and stuff. But yeah, Come On and Love Me.
Pro tip: we'll probably make you play lead guitar on our next album.
You don't want that.
Right.
Yeah.
Come On and Love Me. I'm not a fan of the lyrics. She's a dancer, romancer. I'm a Capricorn and she's a Cancer.
That's so good.
That lyric's
I
pretty
love
good.
that.
That's a great line.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Listen, the ladies in the room love it. Okay,
That's-
Paul was onto something, obviously. He had a demographic he was going after, and he proved it right here.
That's fair, but
These girls are young enough to be his granddaughter, and they're still like, yeah, Paul Stanley. Look at that chest hair, you know.
You're really extrapolating. See? Let me interrupt you and just say a bunch of things I assume you meant.
I will defend Paul and his sexiness at any time.
Even his shaved abs that he does now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he actually shaves the ab lines on his stomach.
What?
Yeah, and dyes the hair.
That's freaking just weird.
Yeah.
But you gotta love it.
I'm trying to picture
Sorry,
how
I just ruined that
works.
interview for you.
well, this would be Wayne's World, and Paul Stanley is too good for that.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Paul and his shabs.
Well, that's our show, ladies. I want to thank all of our awesome panelists.
We hate you.
Welcome.
For those of you who have products to plug,
Die.
please,
This is you. It's literally you.
yes, please plug your product.
Chris who wants to die, apparently.
Chris who wants to die, tell us where they can find you and enjoy more of you.
On YouTube, you can find me under Kimchi Chris and watch all my fun videos. You can Laugh at the Vinnie Vincent one that's got me a lot of people mad at me on YouTube. That's
you got
always
threatened to be sued also?
not by Vinny, but a lot of people are mad at me about it. You know, I've had to delete a lot of homophobic and racist comments for one. That's where you find me on YouTube, and then my band Night Sabers is the other place you should find me and listen to all the nerdy stuff we have to sing about.
You can, decibelgeek.com is where you can find Decibel Geek Podcast, put out a show, well, hopefully every week, unless we're busy. If you're into Kiss, we've done a lot of Kiss material. Every July, we do Kissmas in July, and every show is a Kiss-related show, and we've done these things called Albums Unleashed with people that have been part of albums. If you're into the Kiss Carnival of Souls, we did a 2-part episode with Toby Wright on that one. And then also, and I'm on Facebook. Look for CZY, and then I'm sure that's the only name you'll find on Facebook. And also GeneSimmonsVault.com. I figured I'd promote him while I'm here.
Oh, yeah.
Why not?
Oh, yeah.
Get a vault while you're at it.
Yeah, if you don't own this album and you're listening to this,
Just
I
buy
have
the
no
vault
idea
instead.
why,
Yeah.
but
You get an action figure.
yeah, for reference, anytime we rank something, please support the official release. Buy
Or download it.
Or
For free.
pay for it.
And if you want to help out a bunch of couch surfers, just go to oneworldcenter.org and you can donate and help us achieve our goals. Thank you.
Of sleeping on people's couches for free.
And also helping build sustainable development in Africa.
That too.
Just saying, your donation goes to help us.
We're taking the
That's-
Kiss album there.
Hey, that's my copy. I'm taking it back.
Hey, obviously you looked at it and you just thought, man, that thing's good looking and it's looking like it should be good.
I can't wait to hear the Africans' reaction to Ladies in Waiting.
We'll set up the podcast over there and we'll send
Kiss has a lot of problematic lyrics.
So is Ladies in Waiting really such a bad song? We've all
Yes,
reacted
it
to it
is.
so much. It's an interesting song.
And, of course, you can find Lipstick at lipstickgeneration.com. You can hear our song that was making fun of Manpower called Rock and Roll Anime Girls that Chris is not a fan of, and other Chris might not have even heard. So please check us out there. Please support our panelists and their awesome products, and give the couch surfers money so they can sleep on someone else's couch and leave Steve's place. Thank you all so much, and have a good one.